Hi, we're here interviewing one of our patients, and he has been to our office for how many visits now?
3 times.
3 times. And before this, you had been having some shoulder problems, is that correct? And back and...
Yes, I have for the past 9 months.
Okay. And you had seen some other people for this in that
Yes, I
period
have.
of time. And the results weren't what you expected?
Not at all.
Not at all. And so tell us, when you came in here, what you actually were experiencing.
I was experiencing shoulder pain on my back, on the front of my shoulders, couldn't move my arm properly, and they suggested I should have had surgery.
So as far as motion, like how high or what could you do with your arm or not do?
I could do any movement in just 3 short visits.
But before that, what was your movement like?
Up to here, and couldn't move my arm in the front or in the back.
And was that affecting your workouts and the ability to function during the day and so forth?
It affected throughout my whole life.
So with what we did in our office here, we actually looked at him and saw that he had weakness, and his weakness was actually ipsilateral, which means it was all on one side, and his balance was off on this side. And in terms of kinesiology and neurology, what we look at is more of a, rather than just a musculoskeletal system problem, we actually look at it as more of a neurologic problem. And so his motoric system or his muscle systems are actually an avenue of approach into his nervous system. And so because of what he came in with, his extensor muscles, which are his shunt stabilizer muscles, which are his back, arms, and legs, weren't activating properly. And this is a problem actually from an area in the brainstem that isn't summating properly and feed forward information into his muscle systems. And so his extensors, which are again the stabilizers, weren't working, so then the flexors, which are the muscles on the front, and those muscles in his lower extremities were getting way too tight, hypertonus, and they were becoming uninhibited is the term that we use for this. So he was always getting too much tonus in this area, causing major stress onto the tendons, joints, and ligaments. And it wasn't only affecting his arm, but it was affecting his back, and he was having problems in your hamstrings too, weren't you?
Right.
And so when this happens, over time, it puts a big wear and tear on the shoulder. And so what you have to do is look at the total picture. So rather than just working on his shoulder, we did things in our office to turn the switches on, so to speak, to activate his neurologic system, to make his body, his shunt stabilizers start to work, and to also, we then did neurologic strength training with him. And at this point in time, after 3 visits, he has full range of motion, he has no more pain, and the really good news is he's not going to have to go to surgery. And what we can do in 3 visits, we saved actually probably the insurance company thousands of dollars because he didn't need surgery. He had a tendon in his arm, the long end of the biceps, that had slipped medially because the shunt stabilizers, especially the supraspinatus muscle, was not working right, which allowed this whole thing to go into flexor tonus, which allows the biceps tendon then to slip. And that causes major pain and imbalance in the arm. It causes elbow problems, shoulder problems, and the way to fix this first is to actually fix why it's happened in the first place, and then we set his tendon, did neurologic exercises, and he's feeling much better. And thank you for letting us interview.
Well, thank you for getting me well.
No problem.